In December of last year, Epic Games, like always, gifted us games per day in celebration of Christmas. Also New Year's, I believe. Anyway, in this case, one of these days, they gifted us the game we're talking about today. Kill Knight. A very flashy game that at first, it gave me a Berserk vibes due to the cover art showing a badass knight wielding weapons. But then something happened. I played the game and I could not last more than an hour before uninstalling the game. Why though? Let me explain. At the very beginning of the game, it's explained to you with the tutorial that what you need to do is basically you need to fight off hordes and kill them to advance here. Which is fine. Most games have that as a gameplay loop. But the issues begin when, at first, when you're playing, you use these certain weapons. You use a sword, you use guns, and you use like an ion blaster. With the swords, when you strike an enemy, they drop health. And when they drop health, well, you can cure yourself, or you can keep it there until you want to be healed. With the gun, which is going to be your main use of weapon, believe me, you just shoot them, and they drop off like some ammunition that charges the ionic charger, that then blasts everyone, with your strongest move, by the way. And there's also a parry, but guess what? I did not play enough to get to the parry. I cannot carry myself for that. And yes, at first it's fun, but then it gets really boring because there's nothing else to do. You just repeat the same movement over and over again. Now, not everything sucks about the gameplay, because there is a cool thing. For example, the sound effects. Masterpiece. They did their best with what they got, and believe me, there's also another cool mechanic which I did like, which was that when you're shooting, when you reload, if you reload at a certain time, it's going to show up in the screen when you're going to reloading, no worries. Then the reload is instant, and you get like a slight boost of your fire rate shooting the enemies. That's cool. That's really cool. It makes reloading in a certain pace worth it. The issue is when you fight the same horde for 10 minutes with no signs of stopping. Yes, most enemies die by one hit, but it does not make a difference if they continue to respawn. Also, if you end up dying, you must restart the entire level again, which is completely unfair when you consider everything else I just said. It pisses me off. The game does not want you to make progress. It wants you to die and start over again with the same enemies in the same location with the same waves. And after after an hour, for example, you just want to survive. The music is generic. I do not recall anything about the music. The music is quite forgettable. The only thing that I do remember was the sound effect at the menu. Now that was cool. And, like I mentioned, visually, the knight looks like Guts and the blasphemous protagonist had a kid with the same color scheme. But in game, it has like a weird rusty-like effect that is very odd to me. I personally gave up because I was playing and I just noticed that there was no progress to be made. Like, I was just doubting myself. Am I the problem? And do I suck? Is this game not for me? And I decided to check, and no, this game is definitely not for me. Because, no. If I wanted to play a game where I just shoot hordes and move on, I'll play a good game. Like Enter the Gungeon, for example. Now that's a good game, because you face a wave of bulletkin, but they keep coming at you. But you get rewards. You get something to show for it. I'm getting off topic here. Anyways, in short, the saving grace is, of course, the combat and the sound effects. Because what should have been a good time turned out to be a wet fart of a game. Slow as hell, unrewarding. If you want to play a good game, play Enter the Gungeon. Now that game slaps.